Hey guys, Carl here from GameReviewsHU.net, and today we're going to look into another open beta MMORPG game, Archlord 2. Archlord 2 is developed and published by Webzen. It is a 3D medieval fantasy MMORPG and also the spiritual successor of Archlord. The game went through closed beta in February 2013, and just recently onto July 2014, Archlord 2 has been on open beta ever since, with constant updates flowing through. The setting of Archlord 2 can be considered as a parallel world to the original game, but with an alternate history. A little bit of a lore here. There was a human race, a descendant of the children of the gods, the species that was created to combat the Lord of Chaos. After the war, several groups formed and began to create society of their own. However, the most prominent tribes, the Clan of Earth and Fire, had a conflict which led to a long-lasting war. In the end, the Earth Clan was defeated and driven near extinction, until they were tempted by the Lord of Chaos. Hence, they used their strength and thus they become what we know as orcs. At the start of the game, you are given choice to pick a faction: the Azuni, the coalition of human race and dragon science, and the Krun, the faction that unites orcs and moon elves. It was said that there would be 2 more races to be added on each faction, which seems pretty cool. After choosing a faction, you'll be going to the character creation. I must say the soundtrack on this part is a little bit out of place and actually is quite intimidating, but it really sounds nice. Anyway, you can choose either you're a moon elf or an orc if you chose the Kun, and humans and dragon science if you chose the Azuni. All of them have different and very cool origins. So let's talk about the character creations. You can choose a male or a female character, which is awesome for a game like this. I actually prefer female, but let's go with the male. At the right, you can see the biography and the moves of the weapons, what the weapons can actually do. After choosing the weapon, a race, and a gender, you'd be customizing your own character. And I must say, there's not a really depth in this, and it looks pretty generic in my opinion, because all of these things are just presets and you cannot actually set sliders or anything like that. However, I must say the armors in this game is quite amazing at full set. So let us check out the graphics on the game. It feels outdated at almost everything, sadly. Archlord 2 has the graphics of an MMORPG that came out like several years ago. Yes, the environment suits the atmosphere of the game, but it really felt empty and dull. However, the monster models look freaking amazing when you first see it, but there's not much variety on them. Some are hostile, some are not, but they basically look the same. Moreover, the game is not optimized. Playing it with a capable PC won't cut it. I have to lower the game settings and it still barely reaches 60 frames per second. And that just means that it is not because of the graphics, but because of how the game is not optimized. Also, the NPC sucks. They look generic, there's a lot of duplication here and there. You just wouldn't care about the NPC, really. Moving on with the gameplay, the website says that it mainly focuses on PvP battles, but guess what? You can do the said huge PvP battles unless you are at the end game. What? You have to be level 40 to compete and join those huge wars. It doesn't make sense, and the gameplay to get to that level is really frustrating and really boring because it drags on and on, especially since the quests are horrible. The quest on Archlord 2 is something I have never seen in an MMORPG game before. It's basically 2 types of quests, gathering and killing. That's basically it. Gather 5 of this, gather 5 of that, kill 5 of this, kill 5 of that, rinse and repeat. If that's not the case, it will be like kill 6 of this, kill 6 of that, gather 7 of this. It's the same thing, and it is frustrating because it just lowers the freaking standard of the game. It lowers the rating. Yes, it's painful to play this game. If you have played Elder Scrolls Online, which is an average MMORPG game like this, ESO has a huge PvP war at level 10. You can join when you reach level 10, but well, at least the quests are freaking interesting enough, not like this, cause it's freaking frustrating, seriously. If you're going to play this game, I suggest you don't take it lightly, cause this game will throw everything at you doing the same quest over and over and over again. And like I said, ESO has this huge PvP war at level 10, which is really easy to achieve. But on this game, you have to be at least 30 to have skirmishes and level 40 to participate the 200 versus 200 battles. But among those, there's also a good potential out of Archlord 2. you don't suffer from lack classes, as you can use all the weapons and master them. You can equip 2 weapons on different slots, so you can change back and forth, which is a good thing. Also, the quest finder is very efficient, I must say, because it uses the roads on the map itself. When you click a quest, your character will automatically move towards the location of the quest, which is pretty handy if you cannot find it, and to lessen the chore you're doing in this game. In contrast though, the pathfinding on this game is just bad. More likely than not, your character will get stuck on a tree or an uneven landscape. Combos look very smooth and a nice addition for this game. It gives a lot more variety on the animations when, well, doing PvP or just doing PvE. You can also search for a party with a party searcher for players to have easier access to the existing parties out there. Or you can also make one, if someone joins you, then it's pretty cool, but I tried that, nobody joined my party ever. The PvP is also above average if you ever find another player in the map, because that's another bad thing about this game. It does not have enough new players at all. It just means that if there's no new player, then if there's no new players daily, then no one can go PvP at you on low levels, so you don't really enjoy the PvP and get stuck on PvE and the horrible quest. There's also a contested area wherein you go into a separate map wherein you can fight with the other faction, though most of them are NPCs and I have not seen any other player from another faction, so that's a shame since it would be a PvP galore. But hey, it's a nice change of scenery anyway, once in a while, and it's fun killing the other faction army and you can see your other armies killing them, so it's pretty cool. There's also dungeons in this game, which looks pretty linear, and all you have to do is complete the mission within a time limit. The developers said dungeons were where you can get several pieces of equipment, but I haven't seen a good one out yet. And it is a must to have a party of 2, especially with a healer, because the game can be rather hard if you're going to play it yourself. Also, the server load is always at minimal, if not on the middle. And it sucks because the game focuses on PvP, and with no other new players coming in daily, the world felt badly empty. The game should have skirmishes on level 10 to 20, then 20 to 30, as to give more content of the lack of variety on the quest. And Archlord 2 is still an open beta, so there's a lot of improvement needed to be done here. I am just happy that the quests are mostly rewarding despite of its repetitiveness. So moving on with the sounds, the game soundtrack is very nice and astonishing. It fits well with the game itself, the dark, gothic atmosphere of it. However, the sounds of NPC and your character sound pretty generic and uninspiring, so hopefully they add more variety on the voices. So that's basically what I think of Archlord 2 right now, so let's recap and state the pros and cons of the game. Pros: it is a classless game. Your character is not restricted into one weapon set, so it has more variety of style for playing this game. The quest finder is very handy, especially if you are too lazy to go to the quest itself or if you are lost. Combos look sleek and has a pretty smooth transition from one another, gives a lot of variety in combat. Huge PvP wars when you are in high level. PvP is really good if you can find someone to duel. Quest rewards are mostly fulfilling enough. There's a lot of shortcuts to do certain things like crafting or improving your weapon, going to dungeon, etc. Soundtrack is nice but could be annoying if heard for a long time, because if you're going to play this game and the quest is just the same thing over and over again, the soundtrack will be an annoyance rather than the smooth, soothing soundtrack that you've been hearing all along. So yeah, lastly, the armor sets is really good and nice looking, to be honest. But despite that, there are several cons in this game, sadly. Server load is minimal. Basically, there are less active players and a very few new players. Graphics are outdated and feels dull and boring, and it feels like the game came out 4 to 5 years ago. Generic NPCs and generic voices and sounds. The PvP fun is at the end game, which is impractical and unreasonable since the game focuses more on PvP. Player versus environment sucks big time. There are less variety of monsters here, so you'd be seeing duplicates here and there with just different names. Quests are horrible and excessively repetitive. All the quests are the same. Kill and gather most of the time, that's basically it. This also means that the story felt almost non-existing if you ever bothered to care anyway. The optimization for this game is horrendous. It should not be getting low FPS on a PC that can play other games with better graphics smoothly. So yeah, that's what Archlord 2 is, a very basic that was like several years late on its actual release. It is a shame since 200 vs 200 PvP sounds really cool, but the design on this game and its flow is just flawed. You would not want to invest time on an MMORPG game wherein there are few new players and whatnot, especially if the quest itself don't vary at all. It has potential, okay, but it also has a lot of flaws and needs to be a lot of reworks to encourage players to sign up on the game. You could give it a try if you want, since you can get up to level 20 fast because of the quest rewards, but yeah, Webzen should improve and market the game so more players would come and join, since the game's focus is on its PvP. It's player versus player and not on player versus environment. They should also improve and rework the quest system here. Give more variety so it does not feel like a drag. So yeah, that is all on my first look review on Archlord 2. This is Carl once again signing off. Bye!